That's Flint Castle. Now my history is a bit flaky, I've got to admit, but I think that this one was put in by the English to keep the Welsh in check. Whereas Rhyl Castle, a few miles up the road, was built by the Welsh to annoy the English. I think that this one was Longshanks, possibly. The Braveheart guy, I'm not sure though. And just away from the castle, you can see the flats, the Flint flats, and just the roofs of some of the old housing. I think the housing was used for the Courtauld factory, which was pretty much, well, one of them was just near to the castle. I haven't been to the castle, I must admit, for a while, but I think it's open most days. I'd double check at the moment because of the coronavirus business, but if that's all out the way, then I'm sure it would normally be open on a Saturday. And then you've got the view of the Rhyl across the way, which I think the camera will struggle to pick up, to be honest. I'm looking at the Rhyl now, all you can see is a few blinking lights across the way. I'm now pointing the camera directly towards Parkgate. I know it's Parkgate, but I don't think the camera will be picking it up. And then you've got the moon. And over the far end there, I think you're looking more towards the likes of Cape and Hurst and what have you, and Shell. There's an RNLI place there with boats, and Flint Club as well. Yeah, so I don't think the camera's doing too badly. It's not going to be perfect. Distant stuff's lit up. A lot of the stuff close is quite dark, but the castle is lit up. Okay, so there we go. I'm up in Mostyn, really. Just at the old market. Car boot every Sunday. I think that still exists here, actually. I think the Coed Mawr market's gone, but I think that this one does, I think at least, still operate. Just go a little bit closer to that boat so you can get sort of a that's an Austin Maestro that gave me a beep there. I'm quite impressed. Good old Maestro still on the road. My dad used to have one of them. He called it Trusty Rusty because it was flipping rotten, but it was extremely reliable. I think it was the 1.3 model engine derived from Morris Minor times, I think. I'm still getting used to all the settings on this camera, but yeah, this is the the little Mostyn market down by the ship. Over there in the distance you can unfortunately not see, I can't see it myself, the Duke of Lancaster. This place does. So I'm trying to get the camera to behave. This place apparently does, if I can zoom in on that, bacon baps, sausage baps, breakfasts, etc, etc. Open 7 days apparently. So I'm assuming it's one of these little huts here. Flogs, bacon, butties and what have you. You've got the Abercarn market just ahead of us there, lit up. There's Abercarn in the middle now. That's where you get your fabric from. I think I've got the camera behaving now. It's very, very dark here. There's no light really apart from the street lights, and this side of the road there's virtually nothing. But what I wanted to come here for really was just to film this little thing. Thought it was quite interesting. Probably not for most, but I think it's quite interesting. They have here a lifebuoy, Lanarkmore Dock, and the lifebuoy's got echoes of Nassau, Bahamas, early 18th century. So it's an 18th century lifebuoy, early 18th century. So this has seen some interesting ships past, hasn't it? Don't know if that will light up. Unfortunately I haven't got my my bright light with me. I've got a light that would make it easier to see that. There's a place there called Gibbs Steel Fabricators. Must be a local employer. Now down this path just to the side here of the buoy, you've got the market on that side, and then there's a path just here. I don't know if the light is good enough for it to be picked up, but there is a path there. If you follow that path down, it'll lead you to the Duke of Lancaster boat, which is down there, and in the daytime you'll see it easily, but it's just too flipping dark. And here there's a, well, it's where the water runs off to the sea, basically, past the boat. But there you have it. Normally the pub across the road there is open as well, but it's COVID time, so everywhere's closed. And there is a public footpath on the other side of the water there that does lead down to the ship. You get a bit closer on that side of the water. However, I think it's been locked off a bit now, because getting loads of vandals going on there being idiots, wrecking the poor thing. I actually went on there when it was first moored many years ago to get all the muck off my shoes. Yeah, so there's the Fun Ship Market. Worth a nose if you're in the area. Sorry it's a little bit dark. Rightio, let's set off. Okay, this is Rhyl. Got the lovely glowing tower over there, changing colours. It looks great in the dark. Try and move that over a bit so the light's out of the way and you've just got that changing colour. They look good. It's funky that, isn't it? Like a walkway leading to what looks like a mini Cleopatra's Needle. I don't know what it is, to be honest. To be fair to Rhyl, I've been trying to get the place nice for a while now, because to be honest, from the 80s and 90s it was turning into a bit of a dive, wasn't it? But they have been trying, fair play to them. And I think, to be honest, I think they're doing a reasonably good job. The only problem with Rhyl now is it needs an identity, because they've tidied the place up by, as you can see, knocking down all of the arcades that are no longer here, and the fair, which is no longer here too. So everything that was here that made Rhyl has gone. Arcades and fairs and things like that. Still a couple around, you know, that one with the dragon hanging out the roof is still there. But but it's you know, it sort of needs a bit of an identity. I think it'll get there. It is quite pleasant now compared to how it used to be. The sea's roaring in tonight, innit? All those, I don't know if you can see them, I don't even know if they'll show up, they may do, just about, but right up across the water there's a pile of those, what they call, windmills. But it is a bit chilly, isn't it, love? Bit chilly to say the least. Luckily Amory's got a polar bear, a black polar bear coat on. A nice walk round Rhyl, dead late at night, on a Sunday when it's bloody freezing.
It's Saturday.
Well, it's not far off Sunday. Might walk up to the bridge up ahead, but I don't know if my hands will freeze off by then. I might pause for a bit. So I can warm my hands up. Yeah. Here we go, we're up the top here now. Get a good view here really of the holiday homes or the guest houses, or if they are still guest houses. I'm not sure if they are nowadays. What is it? Meat?
I think so.
These little funny, they look like glowing bus stops. Well, there's no buses up here, so little glowing shelters you can sit in and not freeze while you look at the sea. Not sure what that is. Some kind of apartment building that's been built. Is there much shade from the back glass bottles broken on the floor? I suppose you get that anywhere though, wouldn't you, you know? I love these though. Funky bus shelters. That's what they look like. Colour changing. Quite groovy, aren't they? Bloody cold. Holding this thing it is as well. I should have brought some gloves. Dozy beggar. Don't know if you can see this sea. I can just about see it. Just about with my eyes. Now whether the camera can pick that up, I don't know. I'd be very surprised if it can. There's a small red glow now and then from a life buoy. big old hotel across the way there. It's a fancy looking thing, early 1900s, something like that. I suppose for a while Rhyl was quite the holiday destination. I mean, even in the 70s and 80s we used to come to Rhyl, as did many. You know, and it felt like it was miles and miles away when you consider it's about half an hour from our house. You know, it's not particularly that far anyway. Especially if you go down the A55, crikey, you'd probably be in about, must be about 25-30 minutes, something like that. And it does look a heck of a lot tidier than it used to. It does look alright, like, you know. But this is the area really where the fair would have been. And the fair now unfortunately is gone. Towyn has taken a bit of the fair on, I think, because it's a bit of a fair in Towyn now. I don't know if they've just wheeled it a bit further down the road, perhaps. But there are a few grand old looking buildings here. I remember going past that place in the 90s and I'm thinking it looked a bit of a dump, you know what I mean? And it looks alright now, well, in the night anyway, it looks quite nice. So I do think they are trying. We'll sleep well tonight after this, won't we, love?
What?
We'll sleep well tonight after this. Walked miles today. All around the local area and little bits and bobs. Car needed a bit of a run though, because I need it for work next week and it's struggling to start. Because it's not moving and it's freezing. Glowing bus stop. We can go back now, love. I'll just get some pictures of the bridge. I don't want you to freeze to death.
Oh, I'm fine.
dock here at the end. I don't know if you can see much from here, I don't know. I think it's beyond that bridge really. Some information here, I don't know what this is. Getting around, it says. It's all about the national cycle route. Each grid square on the map represents 1 kilometre. So we are here, and the village, the Pentaf and the Sea Life Centre, about 1.5 away. About 20 minutes walk. That's down there, isn't it? Out in the sky, look. I don't think this can focus on it though. I'll have a go, but I don't think it'll do that well. And then let's get a bit of footage of this bridge across the way here. I'm to do this with one freezing cold hand, so here we go. There's the bridge, looks alright, doesn't it? And it changes colour. The tide is very well and truly in now. Just at the bottom of those rocks, it's whacking up against the rocks there. Look at that, we've come here and the bridge is refusing to change colour now. It does change colour on it, it's like the bus stops before. It's decided it's going to stay that colour now, stay blue. Looks nice anyhow. Oh, it's going. There we go. It's pink now. Now it's red. Funky, innit? Should we freeze our way back to the car? Bloody COVID, we'll have flaming pneumonia after this. Good job you got your polar bear coat on. This one's not too bad, to be honest, I just need some gloves.
The top of the coat.
Yeah. If I alternate my hands, I'll have to find my gloves, I've got some in the house. Because if we're going to be carrying this around more often, then it'd be handy to have some. Hopefully you can hear me, because it's very windy. Do you get any shelter in here? I do get a little bit actually. Not much, but get a little bit of shelter, don't you?
Oh, from the wind.
Yeah. In the little book shelters. Yeah, them up there. Oh, they're bolts. Let's go. They're not very old, those bush shelter things. They've only been there about 2 years or something. A year or two. Right, so now as you've seen all this, I'm going to turn this off and save me fingers from turning into icicles. But I'll film a bit more down the bottom maybe.